Hi, thank you for watching Digging to China. I'm Dong Xiong. If you have not done so already, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. There is a viewpoint suggesting that China's current circumstances resemble those of Japan, where deflation triggered a severe economic crisis leading to a prolonged period of economic stagnation. However, in reality, China's situation cannot be equated with Japan's past experience. A more suitable comparison is not with Japan, but with the former Soviet Union. At first glance, China's situation may seem reminiscent of Japan's, with a collapsing real estate market, widespread unemployment, and decreasing consumer prices that hint at deflation, mirroring Japan's economic challenges in the late 1980s and early 1990s. However, in reality, China and Japan diverge significantly in two fundamental ways. Firstly, a fundamental distinction lies in their respective governing system. China adheres to a communist authoritarian regime, albeit with some reform, while Japan operates as a democratic constitutional state, setting them apart in terms of their basic structure. In China, there exists a blend of market economy elements within the framework of communist authoritarian. Despite the presence of private enterprises and market-oriented economic activities, the government retains control over the most crucial aspects of this market economy, such as land and banking, effectively making them state-owned. The Communist Party exercises dominance over all sectors, including private businesses. Why are private businesses so apprehensive these days? What's causing them to hesitate when it comes to investment? The actions of Chinese private companies today are quite distinct from those of Japanese companies in the past. Japanese businesses were driven by cost calculations and the potential for profitable returns. It was a matter of pure business interest. Conversely, Chinese companies are evaluating how the Communist Party might react to their actions, whether they might face legal repercussions. This fear stems from the fact that the Communist Party has control over every aspect, and it has left private entrepreneurs feeling anxious. The second contrast lies in Japan's status as a prosperous, developed nation by the late 1980s, with a per capita GDP reaching 80% of the United States level. Japan had already positioned itself at the forefront of the global arenas in terms of science, technology, and the economy. Consequently, the issues it faced, including financial bubbles and real estate bubbles, differed significantly from those encountered by China. China, as a middle-income country, witnesses its government artificially inflating massive bubbles, resulting in distinct consequences. China finds itself engaged in the middle-income trap, a pitfall meticulously crafted by the Communist Party system, from which escape becomes an arduous endeavor. It's important to understand that China's current system, far from evolving from ancient Chinese traditions, actually has its roots in the Soviet Union. Despite the 3 to 4 decades of reform and opening up, the foundational system China adopted from the Soviet Union remains largely intact. This system places the party at the helm, governing across all sectors and spanning the realm of the party, government, military, civilians, and academia. This structure closely resembles the Soviet Union's governance system, and it does not have its origins in ancient Chinese traditions. To predict China's future path, one must consider the experiences of the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe during their reform attempts, which ultimately led them into the middle-income trap. Therefore, this situation is not unique to China. You might hold a different viewpoint considering China's remarkable economic growth over the last 3 decades, which stands in contrast to the situation in the former Soviet Union. Private business have undeniably become integral to China's economic progress. Certainly. In the last 30 years, China's economy has undergone a significant transformation, and this transformation has been built in two key foundations. The first foundation lies in providing room for the development of private enterprises. It can be stated that the rapid economic growth in China would not have been possible without the existence of private businesses. The second foundation lies in China's close ties with developed nations, resembling a honeymoon phase. China adopted and adapted practices from advanced countries across various domains, including science and technology, commercial market operations, and capital markets. Established companies from developed nations directly conducted business in China, introducing a wide range of technologies that greatly enhanced China's labor productivity on a massive scale. China's current situation can be attributed to its underlying system, which still draws heavily from Soviet Union communist authoritarianism. The CCP maintains comprehensive control over society, and under this authoritarian system, both of the key foundations that facilitated China's rapid economic development are at risk of eroding. When it's in the CCP's interest, it can tolerate your existence. But the CCP always harbors concerns about color revolutions and the resurgence of capitalism. In such circumstances, it's willing to swiftly dismantle the very foundations that facilitated China's rapid economic growth. This is the core nature of communist authoritarianism. The current Xi Jinping government is actively undermining these foundations due to its fear of color revolutions. Consequently, it has been clamping down on private enterprises, promoting state-owned enterprises, and a return to an era where the party exerts control over the economy. This resembles economic negligence seen in the Soviet Union's history and is steering China back towards the same old path, eventually leading to an economic trap. However, this trap isn't the familiar middle-income trap or liquidity trap known to economists, but rather a communist authoritarian trap. There may be differing opinions on this matter. In China, prominent companies like Tencent and Alibaba continue to prosper. The electric vehicle market is experiencing significant growth, and China has achieved excellence in battery production. When you visit cities like Beijing or Shanghai, you will observe numerous restaurants bustling with customers and thriving businesses. These aspects of a market-driven economy remain prominently visible in China. China possesses a vast economic presence, yet it grapples with significant wealth disparities. Even in prosperous urban centers such as Beijing and Shanghai, signs of uneven consumption patterns are becoming increasingly apparent. In truth, the problem has reached a critical point in these major cities, and it won't be long before it becomes evident to a wider audience. China's foreign trade is on a sharp decline, particularly in its exchanges with the world's most advanced nations, including the United States, Japan, and Europe. Historically, China's economic progress was closely linked to trade with these developed countries, and its technological advancement primarily stemmed from these relationships. China heavily relied on the core and the foundational technologies acquired from these advanced nations. However, these connections have been eroding as developed countries' businesses are becoming increasingly hesitant to invest in China. The US government in particular has imposed numerous restrictions on investments in China, particularly in critical high-tech sectors. Japan has followed a similar path, even restricting the export of mid-level technologies to China. This trend has persisted for 3 years, leading to a significant technological disconnection between China and the developed nations. Although China still benefits from the return of tech-savvy professionals, this support will likely only last for another 5 to 10 years. Beyond that point, China risks complete detachment in terms of trade, technology, and talent. When that day comes, China will find itself in a situation akin to what the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe endured in the past. This is a stark and unflinching reality, and China is steadily progressing in that direction. Throughout this transformation, significant changes will unfold, but accurately predicting the exact state of affairs in the next 3, 5, or 10 years is a formidable challenge. While historical parallels can offer some insights, the specific sequence of events and outcomes can vary considerably. The future path of China's economic and political landscape will be shaped by numerous factors and decisions, making it a complex and uncertain prospect to forecast. I usually avoid making predictions as they can be quite perilous and frequently turn out to be incorrect. Nonetheless, we can engage in a hypothetical exercise based on foundational structures. The fundamental reasoning for this conjecture is that China resembles a communist authoritarian state similar to the Soviet Union. In broad strokes, there are 3 conceivable scenarios, which I will delve into in my upcoming episode. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. Just click the subscribe button right here. I'll see you again shortly. Until then, be well.